Hello, welcome to Spoon River Outdoors. I'm Jeff. Today I want to talk to you guys about making balm of Gilead. You'll make the balm out of the buds from cottonwood trees. Cottonwood trees are usually found in wet, low-lying locations, a lot of times around lakes, ponds, rivers. Cottonwood trees are easier to identify, like most trees, when the leaves are on, but especially in the fall time. They'll change colors, one of the earlier trees to change, and they're real noisy when it gets windy. You'll hear them blowing in the wind. That makes them a lot easier to find. In the spring it's a little bit tougher just because none of the trees have leaves, and that's one less identifying factor. Cottonwood trees they're in the poplar family, and they're kind of, a lot of people will consider them a weed of a tree. They grow fast, which makes them somewhat brittle. They're a hardwood tree, but they do get brittle as they grow. One of the benefits of that is in the springtime, if you have your springtime winds, some of the higher branches from the trees will break in the winds and fall to the ground, and you can collect a lot of buds off of those broken branches, and you don't have to pick them off of your tree. You want to be careful how much you take off of a tree if you're taking them from a live tree. Really, you don't want to remove more than about 25% of the buds from any single branch, and you never want to take what they call the terminal bud, which would be at the end of the growth of the branch itself, that very end bud, because that's where your new extension is going to start from. So you can skip that, just leave it on there. I'll show you what these buds look like on the trees. So this is one cottonwood that I've got. That is the bud that you'll be looking for. Again, I was just talking about the terminal bud, which would be this one at the very end of the branch. You don't want to normally take those. The way you can tell when these buds are ready is if you give them a little bit of a squeeze, and I don't know if you can see that, you'll have that sticky residue come out of there. The cottonwood buds contain a substance called psilocin, which has got some medicinal properties. For one thing, it's an analgesic, so it has a lot of similar properties to aspirin. It's like a pain reliever. It's also antiseptic, which is good for minor cuts and wounds. It'll help them heal a lot quicker. The reason we put these buds into this olive oil and let them sit for 4 to 8 weeks is it will create an infused oil, which we can mix with some beeswax after we strain this out, after it sit for several weeks. Add some vitamin E into it. The vitamin E is also a good moisturizer, and it has its own healing properties, plus it extends the life of it after you've made it. I was curious, so I looked up online to see how much this stuff sells for. It can go from anywhere from $10 to $30 an ounce for an infused oil balm when it's created. So you may as well try to save yourself some money and do this yourself. Here you can see we've got the cottonwood buds in a half pint jar. We'll let them sit for about 8 weeks. I'll put them in the cabinet in a dark place and let that psilocin infuse into this olive oil, and in the end we'll end up making a salve. This is some goldenrod salve that I made last fall, just to kind of show you what it'll end up like, and then we can use it for topical for some minor aches and pains. Thanks for watching.